Don't do that.
All right,
Don't do that, Christine.
Philadelphia 76, love you. So Philadelphia 76ers star Joel Embiid is nearing a return and expected to play this week, sources told ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski. The reigning MVP has been out since January 30th with a left meniscus injury. His status for Tuesday versus OKC is expected later today. Stephen A., your reaction to that news?
Well, I'm not surprised. I mean, there's no way in hell that the 76ers have a snowball's chance in hell of doing anything without Joel Embiid. And,
Correct.
you know, the big Kendrick Perkins and others proclaiming that he should be sat out for the rest of the season, make sure he could get himself healthy. There is no such thing with Joel Embiid. He came into the NBA missing the first 2 seasons of his career because of a foot injury, okay? And he's had practically every injury known to man ever since. And so with him, he's one of those dudes, listen, a phenomenal player, one of the most talented, one of the greatest big men we've ever seen grace the sport of basketball the world over. We get all of that. The flip side to it, this brother could get injured going to the deli. We don't know when he's going to get hurt. And so anytime that he is available, I don't give a damn if it's at 50%, 75%. I don't care if you got to play in 15 minutes, 20 minutes, you use them. So I'm not surprised.
You know what, Stephen A., I thought I was one of the guys that said I thought they should have sat Joel Embiid. But now that you mention it and I thought about it, I remember going home thinking about it. Hell, ain't no guarantee he's going to be healthy if you set him out for the rest of the year and he comes back next year. He came into the league with a bad back, and you mentioned he missed 2 years. He had knee problems. He had foot problems. He got IBS. Only babies have worse stomach issues than Joel Embiid. So I'm not surprised either, Stephen A., because as we're saying, let him come back for next year. Joel Embiid is not aging down. He's aging up. And so there's no guarantee, even if you sit him the remainder of the season. And I think he wants to play in the Olympics. I think he's committed to the USA Olympic team. He needs to get back out there. And so you're absolutely right, Stephen A. He needs to play when he's available, because there's no guarantee that once he's 100% that he's not going to get injured again based on just his history. His history tells us this is not Joel Embiid's last injury. And as he gets older, he's going to have to even drop even more weight, because that is a large man on that frame, and you're asking him to get up and down the court, Stephen A., on 82 times a year.
No way.
And occasionally it's going to be back-to-back. You're asking an awful lot of a man that size to be agile, nimble, and not be fragile in the same breath.
Well, listen, I think it's a beautiful day with me coming off vacation. 1 minute we start off the show, Shannon's wearing my suit, and now he's acknowledging that I was right. I mean, it's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day. You're right, bro.
Love that for you. By the way, Joel Embiid just turned 30 on March 16th, so he's only getting older, per usual. All right, let's keep it in the association.
Embiid going through a workout and full contact stuff, so you guys know what this stuff looks like. This is what we have of him here. All the stories that we're hearing out of Philly, and Legs, you know this better than anybody, are that they do anticipate getting Embiid back at some point here. So what are you seeing and what do you expect?
It's a lot more interesting conversation right now, because we look at some of these other teams in the Eastern Conference that we thought would be there, like at full strength. They're not. This is, you talk about X factors all the time going into the postseason. This is the biggest X factor ever dropped in the history of the league on the NBA playoff scenario, like this close to the playoffs. He comes back and he looks fully healthy. Now, we're going to have to see about his stamina, minutes restrictions, like all of those things. But you're talking about a completely unstoppable offensive force that would give Philly a puncher's chance. Again, just like the West, avoid Boston. And with Joel Embiid, they're going to have a shot against Milwaukee, Cleveland, Orlando, the Knicks, whoever they get. With a healthy Joel Embiid, Philadelphia absolutely has a shot in that series.
I mean, you're talking about a force. You're talking about a guy that can actually take over a game. And by the way, him coming back allows Tyrese Maxey to play better over all their talent that they have. Like you're talking about Philadelphia being one of the most dangerous teams. It puts them in the upper echelon of the Eastern Conference, no doubt about it.
Yeah, I mean, fully healthy, which might be too much to ask for. I would think they would be the favorite in almost any of the series you just described. Maybe not Milwaukee, we'll see. Certainly not Boston, but the Knicks, Orlando, Cleveland. But fully healthy. We're a long way from a fully healthy Embiid, but we'll keep an eye on it. Meanwhile, let me run the floor. Some of the other best moments. Legs, let's talk about Nikola Jokic. 26 points, 18 rebounds, 16 assists in a blowout win over the Cavs. So the Nuggets are the team to beat in the West. Of that, there is no question. Which team is the biggest legitimate threat to them in their conference?
I think it's Dallas. I think for a lot of reasons. I mean, the way that Luka's playing right now out of his mind, the ebb and flow he's worked out with Kyrie, they're meshing. They're enjoying playing together. They've added depth and they've added defense here over this stretch. 11 out of 12. They are absolutely humming right now. Very dangerous team. And you're looking at a guy in Luka who can control a series on a level unlike any other player in the league, just like Jokic. So those two guys, if they ever matched up in a series, and I think Dallas could be the last team standing against them, man, does it get more compelling than that?
You buying the Mavericks?
I would agree with you on the Mavericks. I do not think Minnesota is too far off, though. I mean, not having Karl-Anthony Towns, maybe it's more so the way they defend. Anthony Edwards is a beast, and having no timeline on Cat is a problem. But Rudy Gobert, Defensive Player of the Year, a guy that can control the middle of the paint. I think Minnesota will give them an issue too.
Luka doing things, just ridiculous things on the floor last night. Another good game, the Knicks and the Thunder. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander knocks down a shot at the very end here that winds up winning it for OKC. The Knicks' injury situation doesn't feel like it's getting better. Jalen Brunson has been brilliant, but where are we with the Knicks right now, Jay Will?
I mean, I think it's a dangerous time for the Knicks. I mean, obviously not having any front court, Mitchell Robinson, Julius Randle, OG not being on the court. He's a lockdown defender. I'm not sure if Shai Gilgeous makes that game-winning shot with OG's length and his presence on him, or at least the degree of difficulty is 3x on a shot like that. So I think it's troubled times, and it puts all the pressure on Jalen for his size to carry the load offensively, which is not his game at the being best, having options around him.
I agree. Like, where's the other scoring going to come from when they have to have it? Think about how things have changed for the Knicks. Remember when Milwaukee was struggling earlier in the year when they fired Adrian Griffin? We were talking about the Knicks potentially being the 2 seed at that point. Now, look, they have an opportunity right now to get caught by Orlando. They don't have the tiebreaker. They're 1 game up on the Magic. So you go from potentially getting the 2 seed before Randall got hurt to now looking at going on the road in the first round potentially if Orlando makes up this 1 game and has the tiebreaker against them. And again, I agree, it's just so much pressure on your point guard to have to continue to have all the big moments for you offensively. I don't think the consistency of that second score, or the lack thereof, that is going to be a problem for the Knicks, I think, come playoff time.
And by the way, too, Legs, there's always a narrative that I hear fans talk about, like, oh, Jalen Brunson can't carry the load. It's never one person carrying the load. I mean, by the way, LeBron James used to do it, but there was a reason why he's in the conversation for the greatest ever, right? Up there with Michael Jordan. So Jalen Brunson, undersized guard, it's a lot of pressure to carry.
They need another offense generator, and that's what Randall is. He is the other guy that can command double teams, that can win one-on-one matchups. That's where they struggle. Where is that going to come from? I love their grit. They play as hard as anybody every single night, but is it going to be enough?
Their depth was also a big strength, and by definition, you lose a bunch of that. Meanwhile, Draymond Green back on the floor, 21 points, 11 assists, 6 rebounds, and the Warriors beat San Antonio, albeit in what was a close game against one of the bottom standings teams. So how do we feel about this whole Draymond thing now, rear view mirror, Warriors going forward? Where are we?
Nothing has changed with the big picture conversations that are going to take place with this team over the summer, because I think they're going to have a hard time escaping the play-in regardless, and it's going to feel empty at the end of the year, and they're going to revisit that incident that happened in Orlando and just other incidents that have happened. And just looking at their team, there's going to be very difficult conversations made involving Draymond Green, I believe, this summer. This isn't going to change it. This just reminds us of what he's capable of and what they need him to be, like Steph Curry alluded to.